nice and low, all right? That's where I like it. That's where I like it. That's usually what it takes for women to date me. Now, Fredrik, let me place a little bookmarker here so I can just cut it in. Actually, no, I should probably keep the intro in. Yeah, I'll figure it out. Marker's there. Let's do this.
Okay, I'm ready.
It is an average. Oh, also, can you hear the music?
Yes.
Perfect. It is an average day, month, millennia. Things kind of... Time doesn't work exactly how our feeble human minds out here kind of expect it to in a place such as this. You find yourself inhabiting a large library of sorts, one that you call home through means that people may ask you directly to explain should the opportunity arise. However, this mundane day is somewhat upset by an event that you're quite familiar with, would rather not be familiar with, but I guess a pop culture reference that would suffice here would be you sense a disturbance in the force.
Oh, this place is as my body, and I can feel someone inside of it just the same as I can feel an insect crawling on my skin.
Perfect. Any particular part of your body you wish to emphasize for the chat? Because I think I know what we all want you to say.
Oh, my immediate thought? You know the sensation of feeling something under your shirt crawling on your back.
Yes, clingy ex-girlfriend. I mean, I'm an idol. I've never looked at a woman in my life.
Yeah, they're kept separate, right?
Yes,
They're
yes,
in
exactly. Different dimension. But yes, that is an incredibly uncomfortable feeling, and you are very easily able to point it out. This is your realm. I'm not gonna force you to just walk there. But I will say that you feel you closing your eyes, you're able to see someone wandering through the many different shelves. They don't seem to be touching any of the books per se, but you do. You know what? I usually want to save these, but because you're seasoned, let's go straight into this. Fredrik,
Sure.
could you do me a favor and roll?
Yeah, of course.
The first roll of the campaign, and that will be a perception roll.
Okay. So let's see, and I'm rolling a d20, correct?
D20, yes.
Okay.
And while you're doing that, chat, the difference between this system and D&D, I won't be addressing chat too much here, but I think it's just good to let them know, is that rather than advantages and disadvantages, I will call for boons and banes, which are D6s, which are added or subtracted to the final roll. This is a neutral roll, but if anybody's ever wondering what a boon and bane is, I've now explained it to you, and that is me legally covered.
All right, so just a d20,
Yes.
and then I get a +1 to this for my perception.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Yep. How does it look? That is a 3.
Something feels off. This is your realm, as you said. It is like your own body. But this figure that you're trying to... Usually it will be as simple as merely comprehending. That's all it would take for you to kind of see where someone is, what they are, and everything about them, right, would be revealed into you. But something seems different with this one. The more you think about it, the more it seems to almost glitch out in your mind. It's like the more you try to focus on him, the fuzzier it gets. Something seems very strange. The only thing that you are able to fully comprehend is the rough area which he would be in, as well as a deep voice in a somewhat Irish accent, saying something along the lines of, I seem to have found myself in a rather peculiar land. Books. Interesting. Time to have some fun.
This spirit, a nameless spirit, roll my eyes. Oh god, another explorer. So I am going to float my way to the wall, place my hand gently on it, and begin feeling for the vibrations of him, of his voice, and of his footsteps. And I'm going to listen to what he says, seeing if I can pinpoint him describing the area. If he gets precise enough, I should be able to tell where he is.
Perfect. Okay. I forgot how much I love people that know how to play the game. All right. So, I'm going to let you roll perception, and I will give you 2 boons on this one.
Okay, so
One
that's
for
2d6s?
Yes, 2d6s, and you'll take the higher one rather than adding them together.
Understood. Okay, let's roll these.
And I will also just...
That? Ooh, that is
not
a
great?
6 total.
It's not great. It's not great. It's not bad, but it's pretty bad. So, upon placing your hand on... Oh. You didn't see what I did just now because you're still in the other world, but I just pressed the wrong button and got sent to Pandora. Let me just very quickly grab your character. You should be... I'm about to show you a little something. I know right now you're some more or less in spirit mode, so I'll try to show that.
He has a physical form.
True.
He is
okay,
very
cool.
much a physical being.
Awesome. Okay, good. That makes things easier for me because do you see that little character?
Yes.
If you click on him, and then you can either drag him around or you can use your arrow keys to actually physically move him around, you should have control over him.
Ah, hello.
Yeah. I've also given him the ability to fly. If you wish to change your elevation, just hold control and then you can drag him up and down.
Ah, okay.
There we
Got
go.
it. Thank you.
Perfect. I thought it would be nice to have a little representation. Give you a little hooded thing.
That is
Makes you
nice,
extra
yeah.
Mysterious. And so, you are unable to pinpoint where he is exactly, but his voice is reverberating through the library itself. You are still able to hear it. You listen for things that would kind of hint at where he is. He starts to say things such as, this... You kind of... Your spine kind of like tingles a little bit in annoyance as you hear someone like nonchalantly flicking through a book, echoing through the halls, followed by I see. It would seem that this world uses a numerical system to document time and space, or time and years. Let's see.
This won't stand. Why is he so quiet? So what he's going to do is he is going to try to elicit a stronger response. And what he's going to do is he is going to send whispers and murmurings up and down the various hallways of the library. Get him to maybe start running, move faster, or perhaps even let out a yelp.
Awesome. Okay, in that case, I'm going to make him... I'm not even going to do a GM roll. I'm just going to do a roll. So you can see he's going to do a will roll. And
okay.
He has 1 boon on that. And that is a 13, which... So at this point, you send your voice down the halls of the library. They kind of almost begin to like spread out As just though I guess the easiest way to describe it is almost if you could like see if it had middle light, it would like hit a pillar and then immediately shoot across in different directions and stuff, and slowly begin to like cover the entire library. You suddenly hear him say, he kind of gets not quite a yelp, but rather a groan of discomfort, like it seems this library is not as empty as I'd hoped. And that's when you hear a little bit more flicking through the books, and you hear the words 476 AD.
That is specific enough to get me in the general direction. That would be closer to the base than I'm comfortable with. So I am
carry on.
up in. So the library is like at the core, right? I'm going to
Yes.
move rapidly to from the higher sections where I assumed he was down to the lower sections and into one of the hallways that resembles this.
Awesome. So you start to move like this is your space. You almost dictate how quickly you can move. You go as fast as you can. Pages kind of and books just flying past your how do I describe this?
Take your time.
I do want to ask you, and this is purely for good bonus points. Are you aware of anything significant which happened during that year? Something which many men apparently ponder.
What year was that again? That
476 AD.
476? I mean, there's a lot happening.
Or if you wish,
in general,
we could say that he
Could I roll?
Yes, you may.
Could I roll for knowledge?
Yes.
For intellect. Okay. Let's do it. Hup.
I'll also actually give you a boon if need be. You do have a boon.
Okay.
Because
you
are the
I'll roll this.
You're the knowledge guy.
So a 7 plus a 6. Okay,
That is
13.
6. So I can give you another significant thing which ties to it, and you can give. Are you aware of the date 1453?
1453. That doesn't
and
ring
I
a
will
bell.
give a secondary one, just because you passed. It was the fall of a great empire.
Wait, is this the fall of Rome?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Perfect. So my bad. I gave the. So I did know I had the idea it was 1453, but I accidentally gave you the fall of the Western Roman Empire first. So that's on me. That's my bad, which is substantially more unknown. 1453 though is definitely the main date. But you're able to head over. I will say this as well for anyone in chat. This is the introduction mission, so it's going to be a little bit more linear, just for the sake of introductions. It's the nature of things. I still have many different routes and many different endings and such, many different places Fredrik could be, so it's not railroad. But there will be a little bit more of like me pushing the story forward, since there's no other players to bounce off and just, you know what I mean? Awesome. So you start heading towards where you're aware of how do I describe it? This certain part of history that's very well documented in your library, as is most of history.
So he'll murmur to himself, "What? A historian, antiquarian? Who is this?"
It is now that you start to feel something very wrong. That little ant that was kind of crawling along your back slowly made its way to what you feel like is one of your limbs, if you will, figuratively. And slowly, but very noticeably, you almost feel a prick as this metaphorical limb almost begins to go numb. You're flying towards this area, you're flying towards this part of the library at quite a speed, but the more you do, every so often, everything would disappear and just appear in random locations, almost glitching, basically warping the closer you get to this person. This is somewhat of a new occurrence to you. I don't believe you've encountered something like this before, and you're definitely going in the right direction. At this point, this presence has made themselves very known.
Right. This is panic at this point. Right. This is his charge is preservation, and there are wings disappearing.
Yes.
So at this point, even though I am losing connection with it, can I can pinpoint precisely where this is happening now, correct?
Yes. And you're noticing, like, as you are going towards it, this warping effect is getting even stronger.
So what I'm going to try to do, can I mark which direction it's moving?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I guess rather than moving, it's you that's kind of getting closer to it, if that makes sense. And it is, how should I describe it? Sorry, I'm also just making some quick edits as we're going.
You're fine.
But it's more that you're getting closer to the source of this. As you get closer to him, the effect is getting stronger, and it's definitely centered at a very specific point.
So, unable to see, he is still going to attempt to reach his mind out. Can he sense? Can he hear? Can he understand the thought of whatever it is that is there, that is nearby? Or is it too alien?
I'm going to not even let you roll for this, not make you roll for this, because it would be very obvious. It's you're used to those entering this world in search of knowledge. Some are lost, some know exactly what they are. This person, it feels more like a termite infestation to you. You understand this. It almost feels like something has just found itself in your world, and it is dug in its roots, and it is sitting there, and its only real thought patterns that you can pick up is that of surviving, consuming, growing. And I will say, as you start approaching this, I don't know if you've noticed, but it started to get a lot brighter in the library as well. More and more pages are now thrown onto the floor, books thrown open. One thing that you notice as well is pages are just, some books, despite there being no discernible wind, pages begin to like flutter about the open books.
I cannot simply banish this thing back to the material world, if that is even where it's from. This has to either be sent back to where it came from, wherever this is, or it must be crushed.
Beautifully said, my friend. You continue forward, Fredrik. You continue forward, and suddenly, as you do, you notice a mist beginning to envelop your field of view. You see something that makes you, it's almost, roll will, Fredrik, roll will for me.
Let's see. Yes. So I have that at a...
It's a
Well,
minus.
this is just going to be flat.
Yes.
13.
-1. That is a success. You step forward, and immediately your first reaction is panic as you see as you come to the edge of. Also, do you see where your character is, or will I bring you over?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah, I followed him.
Perfect.
I'm here.
So you come to the edge of your. Wait a minute. The edge? This library shouldn't have an edge. You step closer to see a vast expanse, a fog-covered, just. How should I describe it? A large segment of your library seems to just almost not be there. And at first, your immediate response is panic, but very quickly you compose yourself and you kind of stop, reconnect, and you understand that everywhere in front of you is still there. It just merely, it's become a little bit too unstable to be represented in a physical form. The knowledge seems to be intact. You can't really tell really deep, like, into this fog covered area, and very far in the distance on the other side of, if you could view this influence as like a giant sphere, something like this. See this?
Yeah. Yes.
So on the other side of it, you can still very much sense the library. It's still there. Things have just gotten a little bit strange. How do you wish to proceed?
Step 1. Destroy whatever this is. Step 2. Get to cleaning. I am not accustomed to being a janitor. And he is going to, without hesitation, move into this space, ready to crush the mind and body of whatever it is in here. Usually he shows a bit more restraint, but purposeful or not, this thing does not belong here in a way that little else has not belonged here.
All right. In that case, you step through this area, this gate of fog, if you will. And on the other side, you're not quite sure what to expect, but and you're
We're
just
Dark
going straight
Soulsing
in.
this.
Yeah, 100%. This is interesting. I like this. On the other side of this, how should I describe it? Fog. It takes a little bit for your eyes to adjust, and you realize that you are still once again inside this. You're inside this sphere of influence. And at first, it is just fog at your feet. It is just nothingness. But the closer you get, the more you see it begin to take form. The more you see this, it's almost as if it's kind of taken apart what makes your library exist at its core, and it's almost been rearranged into a simple stone platform with somebody standing in the middle. And you're not doing any form of stealth or anything. You're just heading straight towards them, right?
Oh, yes. There is no purpose to stealth. This library is so much him that this is more like a, what's the phrase I'm looking for? It's my immune system taking care of something. He is inside my body, and I can dissolve him as easily as I wish. Outside of this space, he has very little strength. But here,
beautiful,
in a realm that is a physicalized version of cognition for the convenience of others, this is where he is close to infinitely powerful.
Beautiful. Awesome. In that case, upon entering this mist, you see somewhat underwhelmingly, the figure of a man, white hair slicked back. He seems to be wearing a thick leather coat. He has a book under his hand, and his clothes seem to be in tatters. He looks up at you, and he tilts his head, and immediately kind of gonna roll. Let's see how. He shouldn't be too oblivious. I'm just gonna. I just want to see. Okay, never mind. Never mind. The man looks at you and says, "Ah, I see. I am not alone in this little place. Would you happen to be some form of guide? Could you tell me where I am, my good friend?"
I have a question before I respond.
Yes.
Has this sphere of influence continued to expand, or has it at least temporarily halted?
The moment, so when you were at the edge of it, you definitely did not notice it expanding. And if it was, it's very slow, but you didn't notice any change to its size, especially with this man having just stopped walking.
Okay. So if it has stopped, he can slow down then. He is going to gently continue approaching him and say, "Indeed, a guide," as he pulls his book from his leg strap, prepared to do what he has done to so many others. And he asks, however, before he takes any specific action, there is information to be extracted. He asks, "For what purpose did you come here this day?"
The man looks at him, and his face, he's got somewhat of a serious expression on his face, and he says, "There's a world from which I performed a great injustice. A necessary injustice, I'm sure. Some would understand. But it is one that had to be made for the safety of many others. No. The reason I'm here specifically is simply that there is none. That world rejected me the moment I did what I had to do. And as a result, I was thrown to the nearest area where I could exist, if you will. And that just happened to be here.
Nearest.
Indeed.
And what is this place you hail from? You look peculiar.
He looks
And
at...
he is doing his best to be as genial as possible for the time being.
He looks at you and says, I'm gonna do a quick intellect roll of sorts. Want to see if this man is smart enough to know.
Yeet.
Cool. Kind of looks around. He kind of opens like a hand, and he kind of waves it around, and you see what you notice is something kind of peculiar. It's like as he waves his hand, like kind of the fabric that he's now kind of somewhat in control of in this little area almost seems to like ripple as if he's running it through like a smoke or a mist, which isn't something that most people tend to do or have the enough awareness to do it. And he says, "It seems as though I found myself outside of the mirror realms. Interesting. Are you aware of the mirror realms, my friend?"
Please enlighten me.
he smirks and he says, "This book." He lifts it up, and once again, the moment he lifts it up, you're kind of aware, and it seems to be a brief summary of like the Roman Empire. It was the book that he mentioned and he was quoting as you were finding him. Where would this have taken place? If you would humor me.
Oh, I will. And now is the time he chooses to do what he has done to so many others. Though not before, he looks and sees if he can see where this person came from. Is there any sign of where he came from?
Yes. So you notice something kind of... Oh, wait. Roll perception.
Okay. Let's see. Perception. Brap. That is...
15.
16.
16. Perfect. Roll a d4 for me.
Okay. Me. That's a 3.
Awesome. I'm going to remember that. Right now, currently speaking, you... I guess, how should I describe it? You don't immediately see where he's coming from, where he came from. You can't immediately... your senses are somewhat warped in this area.
Mm-hmm.
However, little by little, you're starting to familiarize yourself. You're starting to regain control of the surroundings. As you do, more knowledge is being made open to you. However, it will take a little bit of time. And this man he's still he's assuming that you're pondering. He's assuming that you're thinking of an answer, so he's not going to immediately react.
Right. The spirit is going to do what he does to all interlopers here. When someone dangerous arrives, seeking knowledge, he gives them what they want, in a sense, but too much of it, and all at once. And so that is precisely what he will do. He will flood this man's mind with... He will attempt to flood this man's mind with so much knowledge of the Roman Empire, all of its dealings, all of it at once. This typically, with the mind of a normal man, will have the effect of breaking it, reducing them to a gibbering husk that is no more danger to anyone else than he is to himself any longer. Okay. This is a threat, and he is to be excised.
And just out of curiosity, see, I like this because you have your lore, so I can actually probe you for questions because I'm never a player and I can never do this. But so, is it a one-way exchange, or are you also able to extract things from him in this process? Will there be any back flood, if you will?
This is typically one way.
Perfect.
This is an attack.
Perfect. Okay, in that case, we're gonna... I almost turned off my PC. Almost just need my off.
Wait, did you almost pull a Germa? I think I just hit my power button with my toe.
I literally just... I very, very nearly just hit that power button. That would be bad. I've done it before. It's very inconvenient. But as soon as you do this, you kind of... I'm going to say that you kind of like... A smirk kind of shows on your face. And like, suddenly you see this man's eyes begin to widen. And don't you worry, I'm not going to nerf your build. There's no way this man I thought that was a 20 for a second. I was like, how am I going to explain that? Okay.
That'd be impressive.
This man, you see his eyes kind of widen. You've done this before. You're familiar with this scene. The very fabric around you begins to sort of like, how should I say, disintegrate, turning to like ash and like flooding up as this, you see this man, he's kind of sitting there like a deer in headlights as this information continues to like fill his mind. He's going to try to comprehend what he is seeing. However, and like you said, any normal man would immediately break, and it seems that like break he does as his arms kind of immediately fly up to his brain the moment that it starts to reach capacity. He starts to like panic. You see him begin to hyperventilate. You see him kind of his hands kind of go from his head to his chest. He just goes he looks at you and he kind of, his eyes are, it's a mixture of like fury but also somewhat of a plead, and he just goes, stop, it's too much, I can't.
For a moment, this is a peculiar circumstance. Typically, everything is within his knowledge, but this time there's something different. He stops for just a moment.
With an exhale, and the guy falls forward onto his hands and knees, and he's breathing, he's trying to catch his breath.
And he demands, what means by which did you arrive?
He looks up and he says, I told you, I was no longer welcome in my world. I was rejected and cast aside. I was thrown
No points for partial answers. I'm not wondering why, I'm wondering how. And I will gain this knowledge one way or the other.
He looks and he says, I chose to stand against the cycle, to break that which constantly kept my realm at its mercy. He looks down and he kind of looks up at you. And like a smirk kind of begins to form around his mouth. And would you have any, since you are the keeper of knowledge and such, would you have any knowledge of whether or not madness and how conscious and how like stable someone would be, or is it purely like literal knowledge that you'd have power over?
This is more literal knowledge. He's not a psychologist. He's familiar with the process, but he has not belayed it terribly frequently.
Awesome. So in that case, that this man kind of smiles and he says, and he suddenly, we're gonna switch up the music because that is the best. This is a great time to do this. This guy, it begins to darken. This man, immediately you see what looks like his back kind of very quick. I'm gonna let you roll agility real quick for this. This is gonna be like how quick you can like react to this.
Yeah, all right. Let's see. Whoop. I should really roll. Oh, dear.
Oh, dear. So at this point, you're kind of probing him for knowledge. You're seeing what he's about. And the moment you start to sense some anomalies, your thirst for knowledge overcomes you. And rather than listening to the very human fight or flight response to this unknown variable, you kind of sit back and you're like, I'll let him do his thing. I'll let him finish his anime monologue. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And that's the first crit fail of the campaign, so you know it's going to be juicy. As this man, his back seems to almost... You're from behind as you see almost kind of like ethereal hands kind of reaching in and pulling it apart as like two skeletal like hands kind of the back of their palms pressed against each other, slowly push out of his back, and they kind of reach around, forming large wings. And as he kind of slowly kind of begins to raise to the air, in this space, you start to see the blocks around begin to, rather than materializing, they begin to almost duplicate and replicate. Some of them floating around. As he says, "Never again will he reset the world, for I shall take his place." Do you ask the reason how I came here? If this realm is, how should I say, filled with facts and wondrous things that I have gathered, it would make sense that one who has absorbed an entire He looks up at you, and he smirks. "Dear guide, if..." And his finger, you see now his demeanor's changed. He's gone from being like kind of more humble and inquisitive. He's kind of seems a little bit more cocky, bolsterous. His chest is out, and he points to you and he says, "Hypothetically, if you were the god of a world, but yet your power was finite. It was great and wonderful, huge. And your servants were beings able to continuously improve upon themselves, continuously grow. Their power would seemingly have no upper limit. And if you were a god of that world, one who got a kick out of control and absolute dominance over his subjects, what steps would you take to make sure that your power is never questioned?"
At this moment, the assault begins again. This person, at this point, he's annoyed. Right, he wants him gone at this point. He's realized he's gotten everything he's going to get out of him. And so it is time to simply break him and set things right before figuring out what precisely has happened. His only response will be, hypotheticals are for the lesser.
The man nods. He looks and he says, "I see the time for conversation has ended." And he's gonna feel everything kind of reset. And as he does, as you do, he's gonna reach out his hand and you see something kind of materialize in front of you, something similar to a mirror. How would you what would be your first response to this be? Since this is still your world, I'm not gonna do like hard combat with like rolls and stuff, because this is still very much your dominion. So, because I'm not gonna, you know what I mean? It wouldn't make sense to start making you do rolls and use specific spells. This is like your realm, so.
Right. His first reaction, and clearly this is something in between his library and something else.
And I will say there's no hostility from this mirror. It's not like there's energy pooling in it or anything.
Right. The mirror is in the way. He would simply try to get around it, most likely, if he didn't deem it a threat.
This man is now, he's kind of holding his head a little bit, and he says, he smiles, and I'm going to say roll intelligence with a boon here.
Yeah, sure. Gimme. Wait. Oh, here we go. I am rolling like trash.
That is crazy. 8, and you notice something beginning to materialize behind him. You don't notice anything further than that, You're not exactly sure what it is. But as he's holding his head, he says... He says... He's not really... He's also not really... Also, will we say that you're moving forward? We'll move your character a little.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll say... Millions. Maybe even more lives. Right here. Your assault, whatever you're doing to me. It may hurt this consciousness, but beware of the other ones which will seek to fill it. The void which you create. He says, as once again he begins to hyperventilate. You see it's clearly affecting him, once again.
Right. Any lesser mind would have snapped by this point.
Yeah, but
so
you can see that at this point
concerning.
He is also very affected by it. It's not also just a case of
right.
brushing it off, but yes.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So at this point, I want you to roll perception.
Okay. I still have a D20 here. Wait.
Yeah, you can.
There we go. Wait. Oh, okay. I guess that rolled it.
I mean, you can take that.
Oh, the dice are tied together. Yeah, sure. We'll take that.
So what?
I'll take a 10. Better than I have been rolling.
Perfect. Perfect. Yeah, we'll take it. That's a success. And what you notice very quickly is this man he's kind of been moving ever so slightly as well. He starts to slowly kind of, almost like a duel, like you guys are kind of circling.
Hmm.
But one thing is that you very quickly notice is that the sphere of influence, it doesn't seem to move with him. And at this point, you notice it once again begin to slowly grow, but he does not seem to be the source.
Right. Can I see where the center of this is?
Do I make a roll again? No, I'm not going to. You do. And I'm gonna symbolize it with a little flame. I typed in flame and a bunch of mirrors appeared. You know what? What you notice is this mirror that he had, that he manifested, seems to be right at the center. And the man is at this point looking at you, and he says, once again, he's going to say, I challenged a god who sought to reset humanity for his own pleasure. And he's still struggling to breathe, but he's still kind of pacing, and he's like, and in doing so, became one myself. And what he's going to do at this point is he's going to reach towards you. And he's going to cast the spell. Oh, shoot. I accidentally closed the manual. That's not good. I will say, when it comes to, just quick how to character, I will say when it comes to TTRPGs and manuals, I don't usually say this, but I do prefer the physical copy. You can't accidentally close it, and you can put bookmarks in.
Right.
Perfect. Oh. Dang it. Sorry, my bad. I'm struggling with technology right now.
It's been a struggle today.
It truly, truly, truly has. Okay. Here it is. He's going to point towards you. And I'm going to roll, and he's going to roll an intellect roll. Actually, Yeah, because this is from before when you failed your agility. This is his surprise attack. So we're going to roll an intellect against yours.
Okay, intellect. Then against my intellect.
Against your will.
Okay.
What is your will? Yeah, do a will.
My will's 9, -1.
Okay, I'll let you roll for this, and I'll give you a boon.
Okay.
This is your realm.
Okay.
Okay.
And then boon. That should be enough. 3.
Perfect. It is
So
just about enough.
13.
You feel his finger points towards you, turns, and he attempts to beckon you forward, and you feel this strong force. You, for the first time in a while, you're still very much more or less in control of the area, but for the first time you almost feel like there's an opposing force here, and he tries to beckon you forward. You feel like your soul almost being wrenched out of your body, but just with all your might you kind of stand firm and it's sucked back in. You're able to notice that he just tried to subdue you. He just tried to take control of your will. And he looks, and you see visible disappointment on his face as it fails.
Yum.
All right, at this point...
Am I... go ahead.
I was going to say, at this point, this is when... I'm going to say, just based on what you know and such, since this specific small area of the library is now being contested by 2 people able to somewhat warp it, using actual spells and actual rolls are going to be substantially more effective than merely trying to subdue the other's mind.
Right.
In other words, feel free to use spells.
Yes. Let's see. And then I need to pull open the book to see.
Book. You're good.
Let me see.
And while you're doing that, I'm going to take a quick break. Task chat. What do you guys think so far? This is still very much kind of the start-ish. This is still some introduction stuff. What do you guys think of Fredrik's role-playing? I think he's freaking awesome, dude.
I've done a fair bit of it over the course of my life. Let's see.
And also, what do you guys think of the 3D? This is Tailspire, for anyone who doesn't know. It's a very, very good program. Would highly suggest it. Tailspire, please sponsor me.
Let's see. Because I haven't had the chance to look over
You're
them
good.
as much. Okay. Oh, I need a guidance
Awesome.
in terms of what spells he would use, because there's a lot.
So I do believe, guidance, the spell guidance it's a yes
Oh no,
or
no, I'm asking you for guidance.
Oh, your character.
Personally.
Your character or the person you're
You know
fighting?
what he would do?
Yeah.
You know what he would use. There is, let's see. Oof. Like oh my god, I'm scrolling through them and I'm screaming because I'm trying to pick one out.
I mean, when in doubt, you could roll a dice.
That's true. What he would do, what he would want to do, like, he does not have any weapons, right? Like, he's not a fighter.
Yeah.
Per se.
Exactly.
Not in this form. I mean, you know, we've talked about what
exactly.
is coming, but
Exactly.
In this form, he would, like, what he wants to do is incapacitate him.
Yes.
Even further. So he would.
Also, just really quick question
Yes.
for you. What time? Like, how are you on time?
I can go for probably another hour.
Cool. Can do.
I think.
Sorry for throwing this on you, by the way. I just thought.
No,
it would
it's
be fun.
okay. I'm just sorry that I haven't read through the spells.
You had no need to.
quite as much.
I'm just more curious to see, like, the kind of things you choose in this situation. And it does matter. I'm just going to say this right now. Your choice right now matters.
Okay.
More so, here, I'll make it easier for you. More so the tradition which you choose to use rather than the specific spell is what matters the most here.
I see. He...
And chat, for anyone who doesn't
You know what he'll
about
do?
40 traditions, I believe, or 20.
So he's going to use a spell in the curse tradition.
Perfect.
He is going to use Frighten. Right, beyond just flooding this man's mind with knowledge, he is now going to attempt to overwhelm his emotion.
Awesome.
He is going to break him mind and spirit.
Awesome. Okay, in that case, roll intellect.
Yep. Yeet. 12. And then that's just a flat 0, so that's a 12.
Awesome. So that is a success. The creature, like this man, kind of looks at you and he goes, his eyes widen. He says, and as you begin to, you kind of stretch your arm out to him and such, and the stream of knowledge being sent to him, it suddenly changes. You see that his eyes kind of widen and he begins to almost tremble. He looks and he says, "You know me, your guide, are you?" He says that he begins to step back. You've successfully frightened him.
Yeah, he's... To enhance the effect, he's stepping towards him, almost giving him what he wants at this point, to show him it does not matter, but he does not respond verbally. Nor does he crack a grin. This is cleanup, to be performed as necessarily and with as much emotion as mopping the floor.
The man is going to, for his action in that case, he's going to roll agility. Can you do a perception roll? Try to beat 11 for me.
Yeah,
no,
sure.
Sorry, that will be 13. Please try to beat 13 for me.
Oh. 12 total.
Close. You see him kind of looking left and right. He sees he's perturbed. He's very, he's starting to panic. He's looking around. He sees this area that he's created. He feels like he's losing control. He kind of understands that this entire time he thought you were just a mere guide. It's almost like, what's it called? Do you know that scene where it's like, excuse me, I'd like to talk to your manager, and it's like, you fool, I am the manager.
I am the manager.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what he's kind of just realized.
This is it's almost amusing because people sometimes approach him believing him to be a spirit that can be summoned with, your basic theosophic rituals, and they try to bind him, and he just is not. But he will, in order to get information, or just for his own amusement, will play along for a little bit.
So, at this point, the moment this facade is dropped, you see the man is going to attempt to dart straight towards the mirror at this point. But that's about as far as he gets. He's looking at you and he's trying to... You just see him dart straight towards it. We're now going to have our first little bit of... Another little difference between this and D&D is now instead of rolling initiative, I ask you, would you like to take a fast turn or a slow turn? A fast turn allows you to take an action or move. A slow turn allows you to both take an action and move. And bonus actions are just thrown in there, too. Also, dialogue. I'm an RP-focused DM. I won't punish you for dialogue. It's anime. You can monologue.
Okay. I think I am going... Ooh, you know what? I think I know what I'm going to do. I am going to take a... Am I allowed to cast another spell? And am I limited to the same tradition that I used?
At this point, At this point, no, you're not. No,
Okay.
you're not.
Still, there is something that I would like to do. I am going to cast another spell. I am going to cast Hobble.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
I'm going to do that as a fast action.
Okay. Okay, cool. So I want you to roll an intellect roll on him.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And it'll be against
New
his...
D20.
Sorry, I
All
just
right.
cleared them because they were starting to clutter a little.
Yeah, no, that's good. I was trying to use the ones that were already on the field. Yeet. That's a 3.
So, this man, you kind of reach out to try to influence him. At this point now, the stream of knowledge that's being sent directly to his brain is starting to also start to subliminally mess with him. In between there, you're starting to flood his own mind with concepts such as like his legs no longer exist. He lost them in a great battle. You're starting to feed these false positives.
Right, I feed him with stories of people who have lost their ability to walk.
Exactly.
And try to get him lost in the sea of all of these people in his own mind.
And as you do, he kind of... It's this point where his eyes kind of widen. And this is when you hear almost an audible, like, crack. Like something has broken. And as you do, suddenly the sounds of... Let me pull this up because...
Mm-hmm.
A wind almost erupts from this kind of chasm that was in his back with the wings and such.
Mm-hmm.
You start to hear things like, in between them, you hear almost like screams and, what do you call it? Let me see if I can find it. There's 100% one that I'm looking for right now. I could have sworn this had it. Oh well. Anyway, you start to hear like wails and screams tied in. You start to see... Oh, there it is. There it is. You start to see like almost like shadowy figures sort of attempting to pull themselves out of his back. And it's at this point that you are immediately made aware of something. All these people, all of these things that seem to be like flying out of him and sort of like attempting to... Even these dark spirits that attempt to like fly to the edges of the dome, just banging themselves against them. They're filled with these... They're almost overflowing with knowledge, that faces that you don't recognize, concepts that you're not aware of. This man is leaking them into your realm. This man is... It's almost as if he's... It's almost as if, like, by force, an entire another wing of your library is kind of is taking shape. And he looks at you, and he's still clearly in, like, absolute, like, terror, and he's scared. And he kind of grips the edge of this mirror. And he's going to use a fast turn, and he's jumping through. However, this is when this is when I get points deducted for using however so many in a story. But as he pulls himself through, the mirror itself seems to disappear, followed by a voice in the wind that's here that is similar to the one he was speaking in, as he says, "What have you done?" As the mirror itself disappears. And you immediately notice you immediately notice something strange. Despite him and the mirror disappearing, the realm does not return to how it is, and these spirits, these dark spirits, are still banging against the dome, trying to escape.
Is there any way for me to gauge the integrity of this space?
Roll intelligence for me.
Sure. Yeet. 9 flat.
Awesome. So, at this point, not exactly apart from the outside, with the parts of the library that you're still in control of, you're noticing every single time these spirits kind of bang against the dome, it expands ever so slightly. It's slight and it's faint, but in the but looking at it in the sense that this library exists eternally. This is a sphere that is ever so gradually growing and expanding.
Yeah, this is an existential threat.
Yes, though not an immediate one.
Yes. He sets himself back down on the ground, which I can do. Hehehe.
Awesome. Do you want me
He
to
sets himself
disable his
back
flying?
down on the ground. Yeah, sure. Just for the moment. He looks at these spirits around him, and he walks to the edge of this space again.
Yes.
And he places his hand either against or through it.
Mm-hmm.
What happens as he moves his hand towards it?
You notice the sphere as you kind of reach your hand through. I'm not even going to make you roll perception for this.
Mm-hmm.
As the tips of your fingers go through, the sphere expands a little bit. And the more you try to push your hand through, now your body is going through the sphere, but it's almost like exponentially the sphere is starting to grow. So the more of your body that's going through, the faster the sphere begins to expand.
Mm-hmm. He retracts his hand as though he's touched a white-hot stove.
You also hear some fizzling from the other side. You're not sure what it is. It's just...
He returns to the center of the sphere,
Awesome.
and
I will say...
he closes his eye. Yeah? Go ahead.
Sorry. Carry on, actually. This is good. That's good.
He closes his eyes, and he tries to feel this new space, this alien space, in the same way that one would feel a wetsuit over one's skin to feel the differences between it and his own skin. He tries to feel this space. And he tries to understand, he tries to feel the textures of it.
As you do, and it kind of, what you do feel is, actually, I really like that description of, it's the same feeling as you would feel a wetsuit. However, it also feels as though you can slide your hand through it, if that makes sense. It is like, it's a cross between like a wetsuit and like silly putty, if that makes sense. And it's like,
It's right. It's dulling my senses.
but there is a very distinct
I
texture
am
to
there.
it. Now, as well as that, as you can actually physically slide your hand through, and you feel a cold air on the other side. Not your whole hand. You're more cautious than that. But the little bits of your hand that do kind of slip into this space in between, you almost feel like the other side of a tunnel.
He opens his eyes. Is this space still the same as he remembers it?
As in the space of the library?
Yes, this bubble that he's found himself, for all practical purposes, trapped in.
This area that you're in, this bubble specifically. So what you felt just now in the center was a singularity, if you will, a different.
Right.
It was like the point at which this sphere actually, what do you call it, extends from.
Right.
However, the area itself, it is familiar, but it's almost, I guess, Now, this is coming from my computer science background. It's almost as though it was encrypted. It's warped, but not in a sense that of just like pure randomness. It is warped, but with a very specific purpose. Are you aware of a lock and key encryption method?
Yes.
Very similar to that, where it's like it's jumbled, but with a purpose. It's jumbled, but there is a rhythm to it.
Right. So what he will do is approach this singularity, and he will bend his mind to it. He grits his teeth, and he reaches his hand out, and he prepares to let every other thought go and envelop himself in this. Because now, understanding is paramount.
Awesome. So as you do, the area in front of you begins to... The more you let go, the more you clear your mind, the more you're actually able to perceive, in a sense. This area, despite it being encrypted, is still tied to your own knowledge and understanding. Therefore, what is able to manifest and what is able to be comprehended was tied to you. But in this sense, in this case, I'm gonna just grab this and we're gonna do a sink it into the ground. There you go.
There you go.
And so what happens is you kind of begin to like almost separate yourself from the library a little bit. And as you do, you see like a glowing orb with a very similar reflection to what was on the mirror. However, the mirror was nice, it was prim, it was proper, it was made with a purpose, if you will. This seems to be just like raw residue left over from that mirror. And from this area, you're getting like that strong wind kind of blowing out. You also do notice that from this little singularity as well, there seems to be more kind of these kind of dark spirits kind of like leaking out ever so slowly. Almost like condensing on the surface.
He will approach it, kneel down, reach out his hand, and push through a gambit.
Oh, yay. Roll will. I've also just gone to a separate thing. I should have waited for the... Can you tell me what the result was?
4.
Perfect. You are immediately hit with a very strong... This kind of feeling of... I guess the thing is... it's almost as if you've... Do you know when you inhale too much helium and you've got that weird choking feeling like there's a bubble in your chest, but it's like unbreathable? That is the exact feeling that you get. That is the exact feeling that kind of envelops you. You sort of struggle to hold your breath as you kind of tumble into this sphere. And very slowly you feel your consciousness beginning to how should I describe it? Not necessarily, I guess fade. And that is when can you hear this? Or can you see, has it dragged you into this area?
It's loading. Please work on the first go this time. It is in beta.
It is in beta.
Retrying connection.
Ah.
Come on.
Might just need to reset it.
Unfortunately. Okay, we're gonna reset.
Shit.
I could try to just rejoin myself.
Awesome.
Let me try. Let me try. Don't close it yet.
All right. And everybody in the audience, this is where all of you D&D purists are gonna start hating me with a burning passion, because because now we're in my realm. This is, man. If it doesn't end with a Sasuke Naruto, Sasuke Naruto, then I've not done my job.
No, I can't connect.
Dang it. Okay, we'll reset. Reset. Tactical reset, everybody. Let me make sure that I disable this. Quit, and then we will rejoin. But yeah, so little break, little intermission. Hopefully I did your library justice, Fredrik. I hope that I did what I could.
No, it was good. You're working well with it.
I think I really wanted to emphasize that aspect of like, this is your domain. You have power here, but and it's also one of those things that like there's like a great power can create a sense of security that when threatened is usually not a great feeling.
Yes. No, it worked.
Awesome.
I'm ready to join whenever, by the way.
It should be back up.
Okay. Joining.
Worst case scenario, I can do screen share.
I am in the place between boards.
And I will now attempt to summon you to this board. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna run and grab water. It's just on the desk over here.
Yeah, go ahead. Okay, it's something's loading.
Let's go.
I got sent to the default. Yeah, I got sent to the default space. Oh, I can choose the board.
Cool. Should come to
wait,
it'll be the
here we go.
The floating islands.
Okay, on my way. But it did load. Come on, baby.
This has never happened actually. I have like 10 characters in this world that it's not happened to a single other person. That's funny.
Oh my goodness, really?
Yeah.
I'm the problem child.
Oh, there's always one. There's always one. But yeah, I think
I do tend to cause problems.
It's what makes you unique. Is it loading?
Wait, it's retrying the connection. I beg of you. I beg.
It could
also
be okay. Yeah, because I like you being able to actually just roll your dice. You know, I know it's such a minor thing. But
it's nice. It's really nice, but I can forego it for the time being.
All right, awesome. Yeah, is it not working?
No, it's not.
Dang it.
No, this is busted.
Ah, man. Yeah, I might have to do a integrity check on it at some point. But here, like, I will share my screen for now. There we go. All right. Do you see it? Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Jumping back in. You, after this experience, many unknowns, you found yourself diving through the rabbit hole, losing consciousness.
Was that intentional?
Somewhat. You feel something prodding your face. Your senses are still a little bit dull, but you definitely feel like a numbed sensation of something prodding your cheek. I want you to roll a perception roll for me.
Okay.
Also, do you still hear the music?
Yes, I can. I cannot do it myself though.
Oh, crap. All right.
Remember?
Dang it. All right. We'll go 14. Wait, do you know what I'll do for you? Here. I do have a backup. I actually do have a backup plan. I'm gonna send you the link to a website.
Oh yes, it's what we were using before.
Yeah, and this thing is actually built with OBS integration in mind. So what I can do here is
nice
streaming mode, 3D dice. Get this link, and we will attempt to. One two 80 by 720. Okay. Let's see. So in this, let me try to roll and see if it appears. Yeah, it appears on the screen. Cool. Okay, give us a.
All right, perfect.
Perfect. Awesome. So yeah, give us a nice old d20 here.
All right. Gimme. Wait, did it? Oh, wait. Oh, here. Wait.
You're good.
Roll. Here we go. Yeet. 6.
Beautiful. So, you're not quite able to figure things out quite yet. You're kind of still trying to fathom what's going on. You feel on your cheek what feels like the sharp prickles of what you assume are like blades of grass. You feel a cold breeze blowing over you, something which is very much lacking from the library. So you're at least able to figure out that you're no longer at the library. And immediately, what you hear is a high-pitched voice, the kind that kind of rings through your ears if you listen to it for too long. It seems to have a rather kind of innocent tone to it. And you hear the voice going, hello? You dead? Hello?
He will attempt to bolt upright if his muscles will permit him.
Okay, so still based on your perception roll of the 6, you bolt up, like kind of Undertaker. Do you know the Undertaker recovery thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Followed by a boom. You take 1 damage. Followed by a ah. You kind of at this point, your eyes kind of open. It's bright, and it takes a little bit of time to adjust. And you see a rather short-looking female, bright pink hair, kind of tied into 2 little twin tails that kind of flow down. She's wearing a flowing kind of sort of dress, like very Oriental style clothing. It's white with like kind of pink kind of cherry blossoms around it. And she's sitting on the ground holding her head in pain as you realize you've just headbutted this poor child.
He looks at her for a moment, trying to gauge her, but does not pay her pain terribly much mind. Instead, he looks around the space, trying to ascertain his location.
You find yourself on what looks like a grassy island. There seems to be some trees kind of dotted around, kind of, which it would be somewhat normal if not for the fact that you very quickly notice that this island seems to be very high up in what you assume is like a sky. Kind of in the distance, all you see is a blanket of clouds, as well as many other islands that seem to be kind of hovering very gently and moving ever so slowly around this plain. Also, the girl goes, "No, it's really mean. I didn't check if you were alive." Just looks up at you and she pouts.
I'm fine. Are you well?
No, I've got a bump on my head. And you know, the big thing is like the head is part of my face, and my face is my bread and butter. And if I don't have my bread and butter, how am I gonna bring home the bread?
She looks at you and she's like pouting.
He screws his face up a little bit, perplexed, and then steps closer to the edge of the island and asks, not bothering to turn back around to her, "What is this place?"
Heaven.
He slowly turns his head back over to her. Can you be a bit more specific?
Yeah, so, yeah.
She kind of roll perception.
Yeah, all right.
Please pass this one. I want you to pass this one. So freaking bad, dude. 9.
That is
I'll give you
9.
You have a boon on this one because you're somewhat
Okay.
conscious.
Okay, so 14 total.
Awesome. So at this point, you kind of oh wait, I realized what I did wrong now. Sorry, I'm gonna try and I just copied the wrong link because I want them to get a log of your rolls as well. Okay. So
Sure.
at this point, you see her kind of look down on her hand, and you see she's very clearly reading something off the palm of her hand, as she says,
Well, you see, you've been brought to this world, and you've been selected as one of the great champions summoned by the goddess to stop the
great calamity. She kind of like lifts up her hands and she kind of makes like an imaginary rainbow. And you also very clearly see a bunch of notes scribbled on her right palm.
Right. So he murmurs. You know, he walks up to her, towering over her.
Yeah, she's about like 4 foot.
Right. Leans down, right, from the waist.
Yeah.
Stare-
She's kinda,
like,
she
staring-
kind of shrinks a bit in her posture.
Staring down at her and says, I appreciate that you have been given a script, but whoever gave you the script gave you a poor one.
she said,
I was not chosen except by circumstance.
Oh, I can fix that if you want.
Fix that.
Yeah, I'm a goddess. I can do things like that. It's kind of cool.
You're a goddess.
Mm-hmm.
She does a little twirl and then shoots her like a finger, like her fingers up to her eye, like idol style, kind of 2 fingers kind of over one eye, and goes,
My name's Fluencia, the goddess of influence and,
she looks at her hand again.
fame.
And I must ask, are you the one who chose me, or was it another?
It was kind of me. I kind of saw you kind of like tumbling and you were about to like head somewhere that wouldn't have been great. Especially seeing as you can't like, I don't know, it seems like you kind of have trouble breathing. Might be, what's that called again? Asthma. And so brought you here.
He looks back over this clouded sky at the floating island around him, then turns back to her and says, I appreciate the kindness. However, the situation is dire.
She says, well, I don't know what that means, but it looks like you're in a hurry. So,
He just kind of he puts his index and middle finger on his temple and his thumb on his cheek and just kind of starts massaging it.
Awesome. He also, I will say that these names, her name is not familiar. You've never heard of a goddess by this name.
Right.
I will
Yeah,
emphasize that.
This I gathered. The goddesses, like the gods and goddesses I know, are all in the summer lands, right? Alfhilda is a goddess. This is not a goddess in any form with which I am familiar.
Perfect. I love it. I love it.
she says,
He kind of feels like he's getting put on.
She looks at him and she smiles. She's like,
well, yeah, I guess technically you weren't brought here by the usual means. So I don't know if that makes you officially a champion, which means I don't know if I can send you. Do you have any? Why are you here? Why did I kind of find you kind of found your spirit kind of like falling through the sky?
Because I don't belong here. I'm going to attempt to be as straight with you as I can. I do not believe I am from here, nor do I belong here. Someone from here came to where I belong and started causing trouble. I do not believe if he should continue to exist, that either the place where I come from or this place will be doing very well for very long.
Oh. Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. I can use some of my special goddess powers. She kind of like whispers and like puts her hand up to her face, and she's like, "It's a special goddess powers to kind of try to show you where this man's at, and we can send you on your way as long because it feels like." See, here's the big thing, right? I was told to stop the great calamity. Never really told me what that was, so I'm gonna assume that this guy is that, and we're gonna send you on your merry way in that direction because I think that's gonna be less work for the both of us. She says, kind of puffing out her chest as if she's done something miraculous by figuring that out.
Choosing a word that he is certain she does not know, he says, "That sounds perfectly copacetic." And he smiles to indicate what he means.
She's gonna look up, and she said, and she's gonna pick up on that, and she's gonna be like, "Ha! You don't think low of a goddess. I know exactly what that word means. It means She kind of ponders for a second.
It would be swell.
And as you say that, she says, "It's what lobsters and crabs are, and crayfish."
Wait, He purses his lips and turns and looks back out at the islands again. And murmurs under his breath, "God, this world's in trouble."
Tell you what. I see you're a fan of crabs and stuff, so I'll do some special power stuff, and I'll send you on your way. You ready?
He raises his eyebrow and says, "You will show me to where he is."
Okay,
There
I can do that
is-
instead.
There is one other order of business.
Mm-hmm.
I am unarmed.
Oh, you're right. Okay. So, here's the thing. I can only do 2 of those 3 things, right? So, I can show you whereabouts he is. I can help you get a body. Or, I can give you crabs and lobsters. But it's a bit of a hard... See, I personally...
Let's table the
think-
crabs and the lobsters. Let's just go with the first 2.
Okay,
We'll
okay.
start there.
I can do that. I can do that. So, I know a guy, and he knows another guy who's able to make things that spirits can inhabit. And seeing as you didn't really come here with like a physical body, it's kind of weird. Not gonna lie. It's kind of suspicious. But I can get you in one of those, and it's in great condition, very low mileage. It's got a full leather interiors, and it's gonna do you well. Just sign here.
Not seeing much other option. He nods and says, "That sounds like it will do."
She kind of reaches into her sleeve and she pulls out like what looks like some kind of scroll. Then she reaches in again and pulls out a very large quill, much larger than her head, very big pink floofy feather. And she starts scribbling down something. And then she hands you what you now identify as a contract, as well as the quill, and says, "Yeah, just sign here." And what you immediately notice is, actually, are you going to scan through it at all, or just?
He'll give it a quick scan, though he is definitely feeling like this is the kind of contract that you don't have much choice but to sign.
Perfect. yeah, it's I hereby agree to be the champion of the goddess in order to stop the great calamity. In exchange, I will be granted a wish, which she has not in any way alluded to at all in your time here. In exchange, the goddess will provide you with and then very scribbled, very like badly written body, spelled with 2 D's. Vision of enemy, spelled with like IE. And then in big writing, not crabs. And then a line for you to sign on.
He. Not entirely understanding the legal system or potential ramifications of not crabs, he will choose to sign anyway on the dotted line.
Perfect. She says, "Thank you for sign." Wait.
She looks at her hand again.
Thank you.
Looks down.
Oh, great warrior. May your adventures be fruitful, and don't die.
I'll do my best.
She
And he leans down and pats her reassuringly on the head.
goes,
Wait, no, stop.
she swats her hand away.
And she says, "Okay, here we go."
She takes the scroll and she shoves it.
So as she does this, he is going to do one thing. He is going to. You ready for this?
I'm ready.
He is going to. Is this it? Wait, I have the button.
Oh no.
He is going to. Was that it? No, that was hoodie up. Wait. Wait. You know what? Oh, I didn't map it. Shit. He's going to take off his cloak, hand it to her, and say, "Hold on to this until I'm back. I'm rather fond of it."
She says,
Oh, okay."
she kind of takes it and it's like she kind of opens her arms out and it's like when you place it on, it's like she's so small that it kind of like you can barely see her eyes above the cloak.
Right.
and she's muffled. She goes,
Gotcha.
by the way, I hope
All
you
right.
know this. If you, I wouldn't suggest watching the solo missions of the other people in the party, but she's gonna have
Okay.
this cloak for each one of those missions.
Okay, good.
Cool. So yeah. So
She's the goddess hat rack.
I love her. But so what do you call it? At this point, at the moment you hand her the cloaks, she nods
And she says, "Oh yes, one more thing. Don't bother holding your breath. The faster you run out of air, the better. Okay, goodbye, Mister." She kind of tries to
Wait, what?
awkwardly like lift up the cloak with like one hand and kind of stretch out. You see your hand kind of slowly stretch out from underneath the cloak to shake your hand. It's like,
"Nice to meet you. Let's be friends." Yeah.
You also see on her hand the "let's be friends" part is actually in the script.
He eyes her hand for just a moment and then gingerly reaches out and shakes her hand gently, like one would shake a particularly fragile teapot.
Kind of like the 2-finger handshake kind of thing.
Right.
She's like, "Yay." She goes, "Yay, friends." And as soon as she says that, you kind of blink and she's just not there anymore. Followed by the entire world beginning to start to rumble and shake as you notice water begin to very quickly rise up and out of the foggy clouds before, What do you do in this? What would you like to do?
He has very little concern for his life, right? Like, and she said the faster you run out of air, the better. So he is going to exhale.
And as you exhale, the water just flies up over your head, and you just release all the air from your lungs. And in doing so, and we're gonna be, I'm conscious of the time, so we've got about, we'll say 10 minutes left?
Yeah.
Perfect. That gives me enough time to set up. Ba-boom. Oh, wait. Ba-boom. That was anticlimactic. You immediately open your eyes and just try to gasp for air, only to realize that you try to gasp for air, but like there's no, your body doesn't react. Almost, it's like you're moving, you're blinking, but it's like there's no airflow, but yet you seem somewhat fine. You kind of open your eyes. Roll perception for me, Fredrik.
Sure. That is an 8 total, if I am not mistaken.
Perfect. You open your eyes and you take in your surroundings. And what you immediately notice is that at this point, you're kind of used to being kind of just thrown around.
Right.
And you see yourself on a large pedestal. Looking up, you see very crudely cut stone. You seem to be in some sort of man-made cavern. And looking around, you see buildings of a strange architecture. Immediately, you also, in your mind, you're immediately given like a little bit of knowledge kind of plinks into your mind. You've learned the spell. You've learned the spell known as. I'm going to give you an actual description of it after the stream, but
okay.
It's basically called the Gaze of Knowledge. This allows you to search for, I guess the easiest way to describe it is when you look at a person and what power they draw from, especially those that are that seem beyond a normal human, you're given vision of that which they draw power from. It seems to be the goddess's way of granting you vision over the person you're searching for.
Right. I will know him when I see him.
Yes. And you will also know those who follow him and draw power from him. Looking around as well, you start to see, you look around and you see like the hustle and bustle of a city below you. There seems to be many people selling their wares. Everything seems to be ever so slightly grimy and shady, rather underhanded. The people seem to be kind of keeping to themselves, except for a large crowd which surrounds this this stone pedestal that you're placed upon. And the last thing you hear before we're going to end the session for the day is, we have bidders left and right. I see that there's many people here looking for this wonderful clockwork creation made by the late Master Geppetto. He left this behind in his will, and it has come unto our possession. So, bidding starts at 300 platinum. Who's can we get a 300 platinum here, and followed by a bright blue flame kind of flares up in the audience, like, we have 300. Suddenly a green flame is about, you see sparks, followed by can we get a 350, followed by another spark, and a green flame lights up. We have 350. You immediately recognize yourself in the middle of a bidding war. You look down at your body and you see pale kind of porcelain arms, sort of embroidered with a gold trim and like some what looks like almost pearls, kind of flowing around your arms and such. Your body looks rather, I guess ornate would be the word. Very well decorated, very well kept. You're able to kind of move your fingers and stuff. How would you like to respond to this very quickly before we end?
Ignoring the kerfuffle, he is going to step off the pedestal to the side and begin walking past the crowd.
There is a gasp followed by silence, followed by whispers as you walk through the crowd, and people kind of just gently, very confusedly kind of part. And that is where we're going to end the session.
Perfect. He doesn't have time for this bullshit.
Perfect, Fredrik. At this point, this is where we're ending it, and we are going to jump back over to, Unknown Realm 3, because that's where I have the music set. So what did you think of today?
No, thank you. This was lovely. I'm excited to meet the rest of the party.
Good night.
I'm excited to see where this goes.
Dude, you were insane. That was so cool. I was able to work. You gave me so much to work with. I loved it.
Thank you. I try, right? Like when I do tabletop RPG, I tend to yes and a lot. And I try to build up, right? Like I leave footholds on what I say to try to give room to move forward.
Man, it was fun. In case, and chat, what did you guys think as well? Tell me if you guys liked it, and leave a comment if you want to see more of this. But I hope you like Fluencia. She's like my pride and joy. She's a mix. She's inspired. I don't know if you could tell, but she's inspired by a mix of Aqua from Konosuba and Paimon from Genshin.
Okay, I see that now.
I was like, how do I make the most irritating character that could be somewhat lovable, but only to everybody that is not the person that has to interact with her?
Right, like this polar opposite of this character, who is pure no nonsense. I've got things to do. The world is falling apart, and I can't be bothered with pleasantries. And he meets this, right? Like, because where he comes from, right? A goddess is someone with the ability to destroy concepts, and is quite serious about this ability. There's responsibility, and this is alien, right? Like, this is foreign. And his reaction, rather than try to understand it and interact with it, no. He's just going to get this done, right? This is an obstacle.
It's viewed her as an immediate threat to his purpose.
Right.
No, I'm glad, and hopefully, hopefully you enjoyed the starting sequence as well. I really, like I said, I really wanted to give honor where honor is due, and just the concept of the library is just so fascinating to me. So I really wanted it to be,
Well, it's kind of a ripoff. Are you? I think we talked a little bit about this.
Yeah.
You're. I explained that it's kind of it draws heavy inspiration, very obviously, from the concept of the Akashic records, which is a concept in theosophy, the occult. Like when you think Victorianism, you think the occult. It's that kind of occultism. The concept is that it is a library with knowledge of all things. A few people have claimed to tap into it, and they are all assholes. Okay, I don't know about that, but there is definitely more than one cult leader who has claimed to have access to the Akashic records.
I am now that you mentioned that, I am aware of some of them, and I think I know. I think it's finally clicked. But yeah, no, dude, that's. Oh, I love how I can't spoil too much, but the tradition that you chose would have dictated which of the three. I think I mentioned this earlier, and anybody who follows the Mirror Quest series would know this. There are three distinct powers fighting for dominance in this world. And
Right.
the one that you chose is probably the one that's closest to your own power, but is fundamentally different. And you're gonna love it because yours is like order, knowledge, but there's order. And then there's another aspect which I won't spoil unless we get through the 2 episodes and we haven't touched on it. But
right, and I'm curious to see this interplay.
I'm very excited. I'm very excited, and I'm part of me is kind of glad that we spent so much time in the first 2 areas, because I fully prepared the entire 3rd area, but now that we've kind of left it right there, I think that's a great place to like have characters find you and stuff, because
Right.
your character isn't super aware of what's happening right now and such, like where exactly they are, which will create some very fun dynamics.
No, I'm excited.
Man, but thank you so much for popping down, and thanks for the raid as well. I kind of panicked. I thought it was late, so I ended up starting the stream like 2 minutes early.
Oh, gotcha.
But I hope and to all the viewers, thank you so much for sticking around despite the copious amount of scuff that we have had to deal with. But it was really fun, and I'm gonna end the stream. I'm gonna look for someone to raid on the YTs. Do you have any suggestions, Fredrik?
Ooh, let's see. And you're on YouTube.
Yes.
Purely on YouTube, yes. I'm not following a lot of people on YouTube. Like, it is a realm that I have not explored terribly much.
Yes,
I don't have
we
them
should probably
immediately
plug
available.
this then. We should plug that. Let me actually also make a Fredrik command, because I can plug your Twitch.
Oh, thank you.
And also, I just
Yeah,
realized I've been pronouncing your name completely wrong. Please repeat it
really?
for me. Yeah, I've been going, because I was pronouncing it. I don't know why. I got the N and the U's mixed up, because I've been calling you Kunzen instead of Knudsen.
Knudsen. It is a
silent.
Yeah, it's the way that I don't understand how the pronunciation came to be, because I know most places pronounce it Knudsen, but it is. My ancestors came from Norway. That's
Right.
where that name comes from.
All right, let's see. Oh wait, one second. There's now a semicolon. Damn it! Command Fredrik. Okay, boom. You now have 2 commands on my channel.
Hooray!
Awesome. And so, yes, once again, everybody, go check out Fredrik using the link below. I can plug your. You actually, you said you kind of want to keep it separate from your streaming, right?
Yeah, like my streaming and my YouTube are 2 like quite different things.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, then I'll point people in the direction, because if you guys want to see some really cool, very insightful videos, if you want to plug it yourself, you can.
Search down the rabbit hole on YouTube and you'll find it.
Perfect. So yeah, once again, as we're leaving off, we're gonna go raid Elia. Go hit her with that AU raid. And I will see you all this Thursday for the next member of Lux to be revealed, which I can now reveal is going to be Nick Nitro. He's going to be playing a very different kind of character, so make sure you pop back in for that to see all of the characters kind of introduced before we throw them together, and probably watch them attempt to rip each other's hair out in the same way that you do when you play Monopoly with total strangers.
Good.
Awesome. All right. Bye-bye. Do you have any closing words, Fredrik?
Goodbye, everyone.
Oh, yeah. Any
brush your
announcements?
teeth.
Oh. You're amazing.
Those are my parting words.
Do you have any announcements or something? I will announce as well. I'm going to be part of... I've got 2 kind of mini ones. I'm going to be part of a concert run by Amuse, which is I mainly stream on Bilibili, by the way, everyone. So Amuse is another company which we're very close with, and they're throwing a little concert, and I'm going to be there. And I'm also hoping to celebrate my 30K follower milestone very soon.
Nice.
But yeah, that's announcements as far as I go. Do you have anything cool planned?
There is actually something that is actively being posted now. It is another tabletop RPG that I'm a part of, the Norfolk Wizard game with Braval Fabusa and the Ogre Poppenang team. It is using the Mage the Ascension system, set in the world of darkness, better known for Vampire the Masquerade. And my awakening was just posted on Friday. The series is now already the most watched Mage actual play ever, as far as any of us know.
That is insane.
So
I also just posted. I'm about to post a link to the playlist as well in the
perfect.
The chat.
Yeah, should you wish to go watch it, I play the character of Parker Knickerbocker, who is he was someone trying to get a degree in archaeology and had to leave to go and help his parents to help his parents run an antique shop. So that, but then he comes into his power, and he's probably the most villainous of the group. He's interesting. I'm excited for you all to see where he goes.
Villainous is just another way to spell self-motivated at the end of the day.
He has goals. He has goals.
Perfect.
But no, thank you very much for hosting, Tyr, and I'll see you soon.
It was my pleasure. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.